In the year 897, Rome put a dead man on trial. Not in secret, not symbolically, literally. The body of Pope Formosus was dug up from its grave. He had been dead for 9 months, and he was about to face judgment. Rome, at the end of the 9th century, was not a stable place. Power shifted constantly between rival families. Popes were made and unmade by political alliances. Violence was common, authority was fragile, and Pope Formosus had made enemies. During his time as pope, he supported one faction over another, backing the wrong side in a brutal struggle for control of Italy and the papacy itself. When he died, his rivals finally had power, and they wanted revenge. The new pope ordered Formosus's corpse exhumed. The body was removed from its tomb, dressed in full papal robes, and placed on a throne inside the Basilica of St. John Lateran. The corpse was already decayed. Its flesh had darkened, its body sagged, its joints barely held together. Yet it was treated as if it were alive. The trial began. A young deacon was appointed to speak on behalf of the corpse, answering questions for a man who could no longer speak for himself. The charges were read aloud. Formosus was accused of violating church law, of seeking the papacy illegally, and of betraying his sacred duties. The dead pope was shouted at, pointed at, condemned, all while sitting upright in ceremonial robes. The outcome was never in doubt. Formosus was found guilty. His papacy was declared invalid. Every decision he had made was erased. And then came the punishment. The court ordered the corpse stripped of its papal garments. 3 fingers were cut from his right hand, the fingers used to give blessings. His body was dragged through the streets of Rome. Then it was thrown into the Tiber River. The trial was over. Justice, they believed, had been served. The people of Rome were horrified. The spectacle crossed a line even by medieval standards. Rumors spread that the city was cursed, that earthquakes and strange omens followed the trial, that God himself was angered. Public outrage grew. Not long after, the pope who ordered the trial was overthrown. He was imprisoned, and eventually he was strangled to death. The new authorities reversed the verdict. Formosus was declared innocent. His body was recovered from the river and reburied with honor. But the damage was done. The Cadaver Synod remains one of the most disturbing events in church history. Not because of superstition, not because of ignorance, but because it showed how far power could go when revenge outweighed reason. A dead man was tried not to discover truth, but to rewrite history, to erase legitimacy, to punish an enemy who could no longer defend himself. The Cadaver Synod wasn't justice, it was politics wearing religious robes, and it proved something unsettling. Even death does not always end a conflict. Sometimes it just makes the revenge easier. This was not ancient myth. It happened, and it belongs in WTF history. Power doesn't always end when a life does. In 897, a dead man was put on trial, not for justice, but for control. History remembers it as madness, but it was something worse. It was revenge. If this story unsettled you, it should have. Because when authority cares more about erasing enemies than seeking truth, even the dead aren't safe. This is WTF History.